Hello, this is Matthew. This is another Ridercast episode 4, and I will be discussing Kamen Rider Faiz. I wanted to say that this is going to go a little differently from last time. Hopefully it'll be a little smoother. I'm at the computer and I have everything pulled up so I can start sharing the meta information with you, and should be pretty simple. So, Kamen Rider Faiz ran from January 26, 2003 to January 18, 2004. There are 50 episodes. The first episode is called The Start of a Trip. It's written by Shiki Inoue, directed by Ryuta Tasaki. And the next episode is called The Belt's Power, also written by Inoue and directed by Tasaki. Now, I went through about 30 episodes worth of the 50, and they were all written by Inoue, and the director position changed like every pair of episodes, or maybe at most a director would go like 4 episodes in a row and then they'd switch off. And I don't think Tasaki was in much of the 30 episode rotation. It's probably like 4 or 5 directors. I'm not going to go through it though, so you're just kind of left with that general information. So I'm not going to talk about the ending song because you never hear them anymore, but I will go ahead and talk about Justifies. I really like the song itself, Justifies, and the beyond the song, the visuals are really good, really well put together, very dramatic. I like it. And I don't want to neglect the suit actors, so let's see. On here it says Faiz is played by Seiji Takawa, which is, common for Kamen Rider. Let's see, we've got the horse Orphnoc, played by Ito Makoto, who I believe Ito Makoto was the secondary rider. He was Ren, or Knight from Ryuki. So it's interesting to see. I wonder how involved Horse Orphnoc is going to be in the show. It also happens to be another writer that I won't share because I don't want to go into spoilers. Let's see. The first and second episode featured the mermaid Orphnoc, and let me see if I can find that in this list of suit actors real quick. I don't see it. Maybe I overlooked it, but I don't see it, so interesting. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I have to say for that. And again, Justifies was a fun song. Let me see, who was the writer of the lyrics? Shoko Fujibayashi again. Apparently they do a lot of that. A lot of songwriting for Toei, at least for the Kamen Rider series. I wonder if they did Super Sentai songs too. Interesting. Okay, so now I'm supposed to talk about the premise of Kamen Rider Faiz, and I will be quite transparent with you, and I'm not going to, rack my brains over this. I'm not 100% sure what the premise of Kamen Rider Faiz is. There's this company called Smart Brain. There's a smart lady who's in their advertisements, but who also pops up as a character in the show, which is interesting. Their facility is attacked by an Orphnoc in the beginning. It kills some people. It looks like it kills people. I don't know for sure. It definitely knocks down a stainless steel wall or panel, which was pretty cool. But then the show, after this attack and the revelation of this encrusted belt, it's the Faiz belt, or the Faiz gear as they call it, and it's like fossilized or something, and an Orphnoc attacks these people, and then it rips it open, and then the show cuts to Mari on her road trip, and she's going to Tokyo because her father sent her the belt, and he's in Tokyo, and for some reason he sent it to her, and then she's bringing it back to him, and then she encounters this guy with the cat tongue who has no dreams, and looks like she's going to be Faiz, but he ends up becoming Faiz instead, and he protects her from some Orphnocs. And then on the other side of the story, so see, it's all a mess. And then on the other side of the story, you have Yuji Kiba, who died. He was in a coma. He ends up dying, and then he comes back, and he's an Orphnoc himself, the horse Orphnoc, and his life is sad. Like, that's the premise of the show, pretty much. So it's a bit of a mess. Okay, so talking about the cast, who I mentioned briefly, really, I've got written down Mari, Takumi, Yuji, and Smart Lady. There were a bunch of other characters, side characters, victims and stuff featured in the show. I guess there's like Yuji's fiance, whose name I don't remember now, which I feel a little bad about, but or former girlfriend, I guess. Oh, Chie, that's who it is. Best girl, Chie. Sorry. Anybody who knows Persona 4, or maybe just memes on the internet, will get that one. So, yeah, the cast. So Mari, I like Mari. She's affable. She seems really courageous. I like her attitude. Like, she's dealing with these guys who are kind of stalking her. I think at least one of them is an Orphnoc who was after her belt all along, after the Faiz gear. And anyway, I like how she deals with them. She kind of lies to them. She's a little gruff. She's like not afraid to be unfeminine and unladylike to drive them away, which is pretty cool. I like that, especially because I'm not sure, a woman being not ladylike enough should actually drive you away if you're like a good person and just interested in her as a human as opposed to, something else. So I like Mari. Takumi is a little weird so far. I like that he kind of has no reaction to anything, which is really interesting. He seems like a good contrast to last year, to Shinji, who kind of, reacted to everything, in a big way. I like how Takumi kind of no-sells things, but it's a little silly that he makes it looks like he's like stalking Mari, like he's gonna hurt her, and he's just asking for his bag with his clothes in it because his bag got stolen and he thinks that she has it, and it's like, it's a ridiculous scenario. But I think the actor plays it off well. I like their chemistry together. There's a little turn where he ends up going to help her find her bag after he throws it, and it looked like he was getting on the bike to leave with the bag, his bag, so to speak, or so he thought, attached to it, and then he realized, oh no, or then he stops and he helps her, and that's a positive thing. And there's one other thing about him. He mentions that he has no dreams and he's traveling, I guess, to find his dreams. And it's funny because it's contrasted with Mari, who does have dreams. She wants to be a hairdresser, like that's her passion, and she's pursuing it. And kind of this trip to take the Faiz belt to her dad in Tokyo is just like it's a detour, and then she'll in Tokyo seek out clientele or training or whatever to do hair, and it's really cool because they end up needing to buy the Faiz belt from a pawn shop owner, and she has Takumi round up kids for her to cut their hair, and it's a fun thing. Nobody else on the hero cast really, so I guess I'll move on to the villains, or whatever they are. So Smart Lady is super enigmatic. She seems, I don't know, a little out of place, a little fake, a little ominous too, which is, I guess, good. It serves the side of the story with Yuji well, I guess. Yuji, not UEG. Anyway, and Yuji himself, he's very sympathetic. I like him a lot. I identified with him when they were showing his life earlier, and then to see how his family treats him and how things go south for him after he is in this car accident, he's supposed to die. It's really interesting, and I feel like there's a big theme they're going for, but I have no idea what that theme is just yet, because it's just like him getting destroyed and his life getting ruined, and a crazy thing that I didn't expect to happen, which I'll talk about it here, I guess, is that he tries to kill himself because, he was almost dead in the coma, and then his heart stopped, and then he comes back to life as an Orphnoc or whatever. And then he visits his family, and he is being yelled at. I think his cousin ended up becoming, or getting into a relationship with his former girlfriend. I'll put it that way. It's the cleanest, most factual way to put it. Anyway, I think this guy's his cousin because he was hanging out at his uncle's house. And anyway, the cousin ends up yelling at Yuji, like, you should have been dead, and it's your fault for, you should have stayed dead. Instead, you had to come back to life. And Yuji's like really torn up about it, and then he kills himself, or tries to kill himself by jumping off a building, which I cannot believe they showed in this show for children. But I thought it was good. I didn't think it was a bad thing, and they did it in a classy manner. Like, it wasn't gratuitous or vulgar. It was just factual and shocking. So I appreciated that. But let's see more about his character, or him as a cast member. Like, he feels just so alone and so separated from everybody, and I really appreciate that. I think it has to do with what kind of story they want to tell with him, and so far I think they're doing a good job, or they did a good job with him in the first 2 episodes. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I guess his former girlfriend, she's traumatized by the death, by seeing her boyfriend or whatever, which I'm not talking about Yuji, I'm talking about the new guy who Yuji kills when he turns into Orphnoc, Horse Orphnoc. She sees him disintegrate, literally disintegrate, right in front of her, and she's traumatized by it, and then she blames it on Yuji and like runs from the cops, and just she's a basket case. And it's just, the actress did a really good job. It was a really good performance, and it was interesting to see how different she was from the scene showing his life prior to the car accident that killed his parents and put him in a coma. So yeah, anyway, I'm not sure what else to say about that, so I guess I'll kind of skedaddle, get off of the cast, and move on to design. I'll try to make this quick. There aren't many design elements in the show so far. You've got the Faiz belt system thing. You've got the Faiz suit itself, which I think all of it looks fantastic. There's the phone that pairs with it, which I find it funny that an ancient relic that was fossilized had a phone inside of it, but it did. So I don't know what that tells you. I wonder if there's going to be time travel later in the show or what that was all about. But anyway, there's that. It looks like it looks like it was created by SmartBrain because it was at SmartBrain's facility. And Mari's dad sends her a motorcycle, which seems like it has a lot of design put into it. So I think it's going to turn into something later in the show, just based on what I've seen from this. And or maybe it'll become the Faiz bike. Actually, on the wiki I pulled up, it is the bike that Faiz is riding. So. Pretty sure he steals it from her at some point, or she gives it to him, whatever. I mean, it did come with the belt, so I guess that makes sense. But like all of it looks really slick. It looks very, very clean. I really enjoy the look of the Faiz gear. And I guess on the other side of the design, it would be the Orphnoc stuff. I think the Orphnocs are a really bold take on the monsters because they aren't flashy and colorful. Instead, they're monochromatic. They're all kind of silvery gray. And they have animal designs. I've only seen the mermaid and the horse really, but they just have very intricate, detailed designs. And I think the simplicity of the color palette, it doesn't necessarily necessitate all the detail on them, but it makes the details pop. And it from a toyetic standpoint, it makes it worthwhile that they're this monochrome. So I appreciated that. I thought they looked really good, really interesting. Scary. The only aspect about them I don't really like is how it shows all the weird lines superimposed on the people's faces. I think I didn't like the way they did that CGI effect, and I don't know, they could have done something else that would have been better. I just don't know what. But I mean, really, there's not much to talk about as far as design is concerned because I've only barely glimpsed it in the first 2 episodes of the show. This 5 seems like it's going to have a really slow, long, drawn-out start. Because I don't really know what to say about it. Overall thoughts, there's a lot of trash talk thrown around about Faiz, and honestly I did watch 10 episodes of it, but that was many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't know, based on these 2 episodes, I'm interested, but I'm interested in it because it's another Kamen Rider and it has elements that I like already, and I think Takami's an interesting character, an interesting protagonist to follow, and I like Mari, but other than there's this overarching mystery, I'm not on the edge of my seat, waiting for the next episode. But there are things that are very enjoyable about it, so I don't know, I definitely want to check it out. I want to see more of that suit, want to see the upgrades, which is kind of funny because I'm really a story guy, but just the visuals of it alone are so compelling. I'm interested, and I'm also interested in Yuji's story because it seems like it gets deep. And I think it's kind of interesting that the cast, anyway, I'm talking out of these 2 episodes, but I mean, he's obviously a main character in the show, and that's really interesting because he's a villain, and it was, we haven't had that so far, really, at least not in the premiere episodes of the last 3 shows. So that's really all I have to say about Kamen Rider Faiz. So I will go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more. I link everything I do there, so if you want to comment, that's the place where I'll definitely see it.